Israeli war cabinet, which was formed in a moment of unity following the 7th of October attack, may be on its last legs. The cabinet, which has survived disagreements over the nation's policy in Gaza, ideological differences and personal grievances, seems to finally be fissuring. Now, the primary point dividing the cabinet members is the next phase of the war in Gaza. Some believe that Israel should continue its full-fledged campaign against Hamas, while others are pushing for a ceasefire to allow a hostage deal. This is further being complicated by a global backlash over harm caused to civilians in Gaza. Now, on paper, the war cabinet is a triumvirate constituting of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and Benny Gantz, who heads the National Unity Party. However, there are three other members of the cabinet who act as observers. The Israeli Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer is a personal appointee of Netanyahu. The former IDF commander Gadi Eisenkot and Ari Deri, the leader of the ultra-religious Shas party. Now, these six are responsible for Israel's military policy in Gaza. The question remains, for how long? In recent days, Netanyahu, who ostensibly runs the war cabinet, has been accused of dithering and wasting valuable time. If Netanyahu was to decide on winding down the Israeli offensive, the far-right parties could abandon his coalition and force early elections. Benny Gantz, Netanyahu's primary political rival, could end up winning these early polls and dethrone him to become the new Israeli prime minister. Early on in the war, Gantz was against the preemptive strike on Hezbollah and in favor of the first hostage agreement. Gantz has voiced his support for a potential ceasefire. Yoav Gallant, on the other hand, is the hardliner in the cabinet who has pushed unsuccessfully for a preemptive strike on Hezbollah. Gallant is at odds with Netanyahu, who tried to get him fired from his post last year. The Israeli Defense Minister, interestingly, refuses to even attend press conferences with the Prime Minister unless Gantz is present. Gallant also reportedly stormed out of a war cabinet meeting earlier on the 13th of January. Now, the Defense Minister is alleged to have slammed Netanyahu, asking him to stop getting in the way of his work. Now, the Strategic Affairs Minister, Ron Dermer, is one of Netanyahu's closest aides. Dermer has been attending to diplomatic outreach with respect to Netanyahu's war policy. Ari Deri, the leader of the Shas party, is not serving in an official capacity due to tax fraud conviction. However, the cabinet has allegedly welcomed his counsel, especially to the Israeli Prime Minister. Lastly, the former IDF commander Gadi Eisenkot is Benny Gantz's political accomplice, who has in recent days vocalized his discontentment with Netanyahu's policies. Eisenkot, whose son, a reservist with the IDF, died fighting in Gaza, has made it clear that Israel should accept a ceasefire in potential hostage deal with Hamas. Eisenkot has gone on record stating that negotiations with Hamas should start 2.5 months ago. However, Netanyahu alleged he prevented any discussions on the matter while ruling out the possibility in public. Now, a disagreement also exists within the cabinet over the overtures that were made by the Biden administration. Now, these demands call upon the cabinet to lay down a plan on a day-after strategy if and when military action ends in Gaza. Now, there currently is no clarity as to when these decisions will be decided by the cabinet.